Hello my loves, and welcome back to BehatiLife YouTube channel. For meeting for the first time, welcome. And for those of you that are old friends and family, welcome back. As you guys can tell by the title of today's video, tongue twister, we're going to be doing a dive into the collective, what it is that we need to hear right now in this moment, each of us individually. I'm setting the intention that there's a message for you. If you clicked in, you are tuning in at the right time. Having said that, I am going to be looking at the astrology chart because I love astrology, passionate about astrology. It's my work and my lifeline. So I do have the chart pulled up for the full moon that's happening in the sign of Capricorn, July 21st at 6:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, don't limit yourself to that day or the days around the full moon. I want this reading to be timeless, and I want it to be supportive of you whenever you feel called to listen to it the most. Now, for those of you guys that don't know my method, I'm very visual. Whenever I see a symbol or I look at the astrology chart, not only am I going to apply the logic and the science, the math of what it is that I understand about the astrology chart that is that I'm reading, but it also triggers messages and information that I pass over to you, my clients, my family, my friends, myself. I write it down and I pass it over. So before we do dive into this, I just want to thank you guys so much. Before I even go any further into the reading, I announced recently that I was am pregnant, and a lot of you guys asked for my baby shower and the baby shower registry, and I shared, and I cannot believe the sheer level of support. My partner and I and our families have been blown away. This is new territory for all of us, and even those of you guys that contributed to the registry, we're literally sitting down and we're writing down the handwritten messages and cards to send thank yous to you guys, but also those of you guys that sent well wishes. It has been so warmly and well received. Mike and I are people who we really do try to show up for the community. My community is online. His community is around him. And that's just who we are. As people, we're very hard workers, the two of us. That's one of the main things that I respect about him. And I knew that this was my person when I met him, because just how much we strive to give and how hard we work to give to our communities that we love. So to get that sheer amount of support and love and warmth, we've been literally beaming. We've been radiating. We feel so supported. So before I even go any further into the reading, I just had to stop and say thank you from both of our hearts, from the bottom of our hearts, even our family. We are just so, so grateful and taking it every day, one day at a time. We're learning, we're growing, and we're so excited for this journey. And like we said, at first the letter was to our family and our friends, just thanking them for all of their contribution and their love. Just telling them, guys, we're going to keep you guys updated and keep you in the loop. Even though we're both, I don't say I'm more private than he is, but, we don't just share to share. So that's just how we are as a couple and individuals. But we will definitely keep you guys posted. Thank you again for all of the love. It is so, so, so appreciated. Just so appreciated. And I'm beyond grateful for the love, but also the community, the sense of community. His community and mine. Behati Love Notes and BehatiLife, the vibe tribe. It's just seriously been a vibe. All right. I just had to say that before I dived in. I'm grateful that I didn't get too emotional when I was talking about it, because it's been wonderful. So thank you so much, you guys. And for those of you guys that did send prezzies for the little one and for us to make this journey a little bit more easier, keep your eyes open for our cards. We did pick out some cards for you. We're handwriting all the notes, and we'll be getting those in the mail shortly. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right in. I don't really entirely know what the messages are going to be today. I'm going to stay completely wide open for whatever it is that each of us individually need to hear. again, I'm going to set intention that what you need to hear is going to not miss you, that it will beeline directly to you. Having said that, a lot of us here in the chat, we have individual things that we are focused on, or concerns that we would like to address, or wishes that we would like to come true, answers, questions that we would like answered. And like I say to anybody, if I was doing a reading for them, we can always present to Spirit what it is that we want to hear, but oftentimes Spirit, our ancestors and our guides, will tell us what we need to know in the moment. So I want you guys to kind of stay open to that pivot. Not only that, but astrologically, and I've been saying this like a broken record, we are in a time where we really all individually need to be flexible and allowing for a lot of pivots and changes. And that doesn't apply to the grand scheme of our lives. It applies to messages even still, and our intuition and what we hear. So I say this to support you and to help you put into perspective the experiences, the things that you are probably most likely experiencing in your day-to-day life, but also to help better support you through this reading. Having said that, let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first deck that I'm working with is the B Tarot. I'll link it down below, hopefully. But you guys know me, I will forget. I'm going to pull the cards first and see what Spirit wants us to focus on. Depending on if I'm getting an immediate message while I'm channeling, then I'll share that. But if not, I may need to take some time. Okay, first things first, you're not going to be able to see the tarot, just trust me with this. But first things first, the Magician card is one of the cards that's standing out to me, number one. Now, the Magician card reminds us of empowerment and our capabilities, and how when we sit with ourselves and when we're empowered, we can do great things. We can muster up the strength to achieve, to accomplish things that can really defy logic, like our logical brains, our logical mind. I want to start off by saying that if your emotions are foggy or tossed around, very turbulent, it can be hard for you to understand and sense your power, your inner power, and what it is that you can do. I don't know why Spirit is starting off by saying that, especially with the Magician card, but I do want to say that along with that I just shared just now, I'm also seeing this message around communication. I think someone here, whether it's around the full moon or at the time of you tuning in, there's this emphasis on communication and the power of your words. This is not a threat to you. Oh goodness, because supporting that is the Eight of Wands reversed. This is not a threat to you. This is not like, oh, watch what you say. This has a lot to do with Spirit encouraging you to speak up for yourself. Also, you being protected, and how your protection comes from what you say, what you allow, and who and what you're engaging in. I hope this makes sense. If this means that there are people or connections or something that you are tolerating or that's around in your circle or in your aura, something that's in your mind, if it's not making you feel vibrant and healthy and at peace and content, or even motivated, ambitious, if it's not adding value to your life, it sounds so cliche, but oftentimes we have to hear it again and again. We have to be reminded it cannot stay within your life. It simply cannot. Now, looking at the astrology chart, I want to remind you that the full moon is actually happening in the sign of Capricorn. And Capricorn loves longevity. It loves things seriously lasting, but lasting because they are healthy, they're stable, they contribute, they protect. And the opposite of the moon transiting through Capricorn during the full moon is the fact that the sun is transiting through Cancer. Now, again, if you're watching this from the future, and how's the temperature in the future? How's the weather? How's the climate? What's going on in the future? Let me know down in the comments. But if you're watching this from the future and this is not around the full moon, please apply this to not just these aspects of our lives, but the areas like the aspects of our life that are happening and unfolding at that moment in time, but the areas of your life that these chunks are ruling. And the sun transiting through Cancer goes to the gut, it goes to the heart, it goes to the center, it goes to our most vulnerable places, the places that need to be protected. Now, there's one thing to have an open heart, an open mind, to assume the best of someone, to hope for the best for a situation. However, be very careful about how the softness of your heart and the sweetness of your heart can trip you up. Nice people, I was just having this conversation with someone earlier, a very good friend of mine. Nice people who are nice, people who consider the feelings, the needs of other people, are also, as nice as they are, they have to have boundaries. They have to protect that softness. You don't want to, if you're not protecting that softness, you will find that there are situations, circumstances that slip through the cracks in your life, that you allow them to slip through the cracks of your life. And I'm not saying that to point fingers or to make you feel bad, but to bring to your reality, to help you to realize who and what is in your space and why it deserves to take up space, if it deserves to take up space to begin with, right? Not everybody should have access to you. You know this, but you may be needed to be reminded of it. Not everybody deserves, if you gave to someone, or if you have, regardless of the relationship, whether it be family, friendship, your community, your whatever, if you have given to it and it comes to a point where it is not empowering you or supporting you, doesn't understand you, there's no longer a feeling of alignment and flow, this is the sign for you to begin to empower yourself, to maneuver yourself away from the situation. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be obnoxious. It is for your own protection and your preservation. Now, again, at the time of the Capricorn full moon, there's this highlighted need to look at boundaries, of course, because boundaries have been like the conversation for the last 2.5 years, I want to say. But of course, to have boundaries to protect yourself, but also to think about what is sustainable, what is long lasting, and what is going to contribute to your overall health and well-being. This means that you may need to, especially with the Eight of Wands reversed, you may need to really speak up and speak out about certain boundaries and certain expectations that people cannot, or that you cannot keep pushing past and defying and denying, right? You have to sit with yourself, really, because I'm also seeing here the Two of Wands reversed is the first start of our reading, and then the Seven of Pentacles. There's something here that you are either looking for, or you are looking at it and you don't want to see it. Either way, it's being missed. So this means that there's something that you literally, maybe this is why this thing is kind of slipping through the cracks. Maybe this is why it's disempowering you, because I'm going to flip it from a negative into a positive, right? So you're encouraged right now to see something for what it is, to challenge your perspective, to really take a step back, because Seven of Pentacles is the card of taking a step back. Two of Wands is having the hope and wanting to make a choice, a decision, that there's something here to choose. There's something here for me to grapple with. There's something here for me to consider. When it's reversed, you're either not seeing it, you're not open to it, or it doesn't exist. When the Magician card shows up, because remember the Magician card is here, it's not that opportunity doesn't exist. It's showing you that there's something that is blocking, that you are not aware within yourself. So I want to say that for someone here, you may need to kind of separate yourself. Cancer and Capricorn energy, regardless of your sun, moon, rising, it does connect you to some area of your chart and in your life. Regardless of the time, it will show you, these two signs will show you how important it is for you to disconnect, so that You're not getting pulled into any which direction, so that you have purpose, so that you have strength, so that you have longevity. Now, for some of you guys, you may actually get a sense of warning. Okay, I was going to say something else, but Spirit said warning. You're feeling like there's a warning for the future as far as what's to come. Where is my future taking me? Where I'm also hearing, I just heard the word like habits, like someone is breaking habits, or it's like a habitual way that you, like a routine way that you approach the world. For some of you guys, it's your work. I can relate to this. Someone needs to hear that with their work, the situation, the circumstances are changing. This is not a bad thing. However, your perspective may see this as negative, or you may see this as you're being hindered or haltered in some way. Like you may be being held back in some way. That is not true. What is happening here, and I know you guys hear this all the time, but this is for your protection. Remember that this, at the time of the full moon, but if you're watching this now, Spirit is talking to you about longevity and going the distance for the long term, not the short term, right? Not what can you, if you're someone who feels like, oh, like let's say you're going on a date and you are like, okay, this person is the person of my dreams. This is what they require of me to ask them out to date. Like they expect fine dining. They expect private jet flights. They expect me to pick them up in a black car, Uber, whatever those things are called. And I'm in alignment with that because that's what I'm working towards. So you will do whatever it takes in that moment in order to, because you caught this person's eye, and because you feel like the lifestyle and what this person represents is in alignment with what you see for yourself too. So you will do whatever it takes. However, is it sustainable? So although you think that if I continue on, I can keep up this, I don't want to say charade, but I can keep up this lifestyle because this is what it is I see for myself. But if the foundation doesn't match what it is that, where it is that you already are or what you need right now, it will crumble. It will begin to crumble. So it's not that that person isn't worth it. It's not that that's not what your future looks like for you. It's just that for your own protection, for your own well-being, we are going to do, and by we, I mean your angels, your guides, and the ancestors as they come through, we are going to do what is in your best interest for the long term, so that the foundation, of course, if you see yourself with wealth and all of this security and whatever the case is, that you're working towards, that you're building towards, which will take time, or maybe an opportunity, or maybe good luck, or a stroke of like inspiration and creativity that's going to open the door for those things. It will come in time, but for right now, we are going to make sure and reassure for you, like make not only to ensure but reinforce that this person, this thing, the situation, these circumstances are doable for not forever, but pretty close. There is this overarching energy right now of change and pivot. And a lot of it has to do with so many of us individually, especially if you're an intuitive, psychics, gifted, sensitives. We are putting down a lot of the burden, a lot of the baggage, a lot of the way, the workload, a lot of the energy that we exert, that we put out. There's going to be major changes that are happening in our lives. And I'm sure that many of you guys can relate to this. You're already feeling it and seeing it and sensing it within yourself. You're starting to put down those baggages and say, I understand why I did this before, but now that I'm here in my life, and now I'm sensing, and now that I've gone through and I've grown through, these sequence of events, I'm not so apt and so open and so quick to pick up the same baggage that I did in the past. So there's this feeling here of freeing yourself of the labor, freeing yourself of the responsibility. But also with that sense of freedom comes fear. And there's a need to be courageous as you step forward into the next season of your life, trying to stay open to what Spirit has for you now, especially if it doesn't look anything like it did when you started. So someone here just needs to understand, I say all that to say, very long-winded, this is a very specific message for you, that if you're experiencing an unburdening or unshouldering, like off of your shoulder, this weight, to me, it looks like Capricorn energy connected to like workload and not service to others, but our legacy, like a big chunk of our legacy and how we give, you know, like what we definitely contribute to the world. It's giving like career, the unburdening, the unshouldering of that. And then the next cards that come up, of course, are the 10 of Wands and the 2 of Swords reversed. This is about removing yourself from the burdens, again, that you are carrying on you. Some of you guys you really have to understand now that you have nothing to prove to anyone, that the work that you've done, some of you guys have been doing this for years and it's giving like you're ready to retire, you're ready to transition. This work that you've been putting in, now it's like, now that you take a step back, you might be even looking at yourself, especially with 2 of Swords, it's where we take the blindfold off of ourselves and we take a step back and we look at ourselves and be like, holy shit, like all of my life was given to this area only for me to retire, only for me to shift and pivot and change and go in a different direction. And now I'm seeing myself, I'm seeing the world, I'm seeing my relationships, I'm seeing my life in a new lens. And although it's exciting and although that's what you want, it's still intimidating. Now, try to fit this in, well, don't force it, but everyone's going to be different, but it's giving when you unburden yourself and when you stop carrying that weight, when you stop picking up that weight, right? You start to begin to see and feel things differently, and it can really be an eye opener. And you anybody can tell you, wow, this is a blessing that you're able to see things for what they are, that this is a, you know, fresh eyes, fresh perspective. But anytime with fresh eyes and fresh perspective, it still can be tough. It still can be, I don't say a tough pill to swallow, but it can be tough. Let me sit with this for a second. Okay, the next cards to jump out to me are actually the bottom of this deck. It's the 6 of Wands, the card of success, especially when it comes to your energy. I always, if you're in Sacred Circle Tarot School and you've studied the sixes, 6 of Wands, 6 of Cups, 6 of Swords, 6 of Pentacles, we dive very, very deep into those, into that content. I always call the 6 of Wands my PTSD card, because although it is the card of celebration and coming home from war, there's that immediate feeling of, wow, I did it. Like I accomplished the task, but now it's about recovery. And oftentimes when we are recovering and we're doing something new within our lives, even though we're not alone, we're still in our bodies and we're still in our minds, and we still have to do the work within ourselves. So everyone's journey is going to be different. I want to talk to you guys about what success is going to look like now moving forward into the future, especially because now I'm looking at this, I'm being brought back to the Magician card and the 8 of Wands reversed. If you're being asked, right, before I move forward, if you're being asked to speak up for yourself, if you're being asked to be empowered, if you're someone who normally swallows your truth, kind of gives people the benefit of the doubt, kind of gets run over by those situations, this is a situation now, a circumstance where that is a thing that's being unburdened off of you. And although that is admirable and although it's difficult, this is where this part of, I want to contribute, guys, like I want to pull you guys into this part of the reading too, in case I lost you for a minute there. The 6 of Wands for you looks like freedom. For real, it looks like for you, it looks like freedom. And for some of you guys, you'll be like, well, Jess, I had to speak up to someone that I really cared about. I had to cut off a tie with someone who was using and abusing me, who was taking advantage of my kindness, I don't understand why they treated me that way, because I would never treat them that way. The thing is that I don't doubt that for one second that the people that you're dealing with, that they are good people, or that they were intentionally trying to hurt you, harm you, use you, take advantage of you. But the thing is that sometimes people, if they're not aware of themselves, if they are not growing within themselves, they cannot give the best of themselves to situations where it might be appropriate. So they will flake, they will be faulty, they will give you less of themselves. In those moments when you start realizing, I am not the Magician card, 8 of Wands, you speak up for yourself, you're unburdening, you're unshouldering yourself, 10 of Wands reversed, 2 of Swords reversed, you've put those people down. By putting them down, that means that you stop trying to have hope and expectations for the situation to change, for you to stop communicating with them and allowing them into your inner circle, for them to not have so much of an important role within your life, not because you don't want to give it to them, but because they don't have what it takes to take care of the I don't say level, but the way that you wish to take care of them, right? This is where the freedom comes in. And you may look at yourself and your situation and be sad or feel like it's hard for you to see it right now because, again, your perspective, you have 2 of Wands reversed and the 7 of Pentacles upright. Shout out to my neighbor right now who just ordered a ton of Uber Eats food. I love them. They're not following me. There's no way that they're following me on YouTube. I think at this point, they would have said something by now to me, but they are so quiet over there. But my office has a window that overlooks, so I could see the sunset, sunrise, well, sunset, right? And their house is facing my office window, and every Friday they always order Uber Eats, and I am not mad at that. I'm always like peeping through the blinds, like, what do they get now? Like, just looking for any type of I don't say inspiration, but like, oh, is there something new I should be trying out? Like, is there something I should... Anyways, guys, sorry I got distracted. The ADD... I'm not ADD, but I just... I allow myself to get distracted sometimes, to be honest with you. Anyway, yeah, this shouldering, like this unshouldering of this burden, that it feels... Sometimes it can feel painful because it's not technically what it is that you would want and see for yourself. But the universe, again, is protective of you and says things cannot continue to carry on in the way that they have, even if you like this person, love this person, or love the situation and wish for it to stay the same. Like, don't change anything. Honestly, if you sit back, if you sit with yourself, 2 of Wands reversed, 7 of Pentacles, you sit back and you really consult your higher self. See what your higher self says. Does your higher self say that, yes, this is a successful and fruitful thing for you? It can stand the test of time, or there's no way that this is something that is sustainable. There's no way that this is something that is even remotely thriving right now. Look at you. Like, you're exhausted. There's hate in your heart. You're kind of closing yourself off. This is not the way that we see you. This is not a part of your journey. This is not what we wish for you, want for you. Your heart should remain open. That doesn't mean that you're letting everything run through your heart, you know what I mean? Or letting things run you over. No, it just means that you don't allow situations that will consistently hurt you, abuse you, or frustrate you to stay in your space and run you down, so that you don't have the freedom to hope for love again, or to build something new, or to explore something, or to grow, or to travel, or to read, or to rest. All of these things that it is that you rightfully deserve, especially again, bringing up the full moon. Capricorn is this gate, this huge gate is not the word, it's a wall. This wall that is built around you, that is built with rock and concrete, and will stand time and time and time and time generations to come. The center of it, Cancer, which is the opposite of Capricorn, is the home. It's the warmth. It's where you go and you're safe because you know that wall is protecting you. This doesn't mean that you're keeping the world out. It means that your safe place is protected, and you can allow people and energies and things and your work to support and to stabilize your little slice here on earth, whatever that looks like for you. Okay, so that's what Spirit is saying. And when the 6 of Wands shows up, this is that your success is going to look like freedom from the ways that once were, the things that you once did, the extents, like the lengths that you were willing to go, like how extreme sometimes life looked like. Again, 10 of Wands reversed, 2 of Swords reversed. It's when you start to let down that burden and you don't show up in the same way that you once did. and that it was just normal for you. You didn't even realize that you were carrying this weight. Then you started seeing a shift, and that is your greatest sense of accomplishment, at least right now. And that's what Spirit wants you to see, is your success right now is going to look like freedom. Your success right now is going to look like you being not needing to carry this anymore. Not because someone else is putting it on your shoulders, but because you were the one who said, I am not picking up that weight anymore. That is not my responsibility. That's not my duty. That's not what I called for. That's not what Spirit wants for me. Even if it's painful, I will not, I disengage. The next cards to show up are so interesting. 7 of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Now, this is really interesting, and I wasn't prepared for this message at all, but someone here needs to hear that. If there's secrets, if there's conversations, if there's things that have been hidden from you, girlfriend, boyfriend, you about to hear it. Like, it just really feels like someone taking sheets off a bed. This is such a specific metaphor, but someone taking sheets off the bed and flipping them to dust them off, and it's harmless. Ooh, actually, this is a crazy metaphor. So I'm hoping that this isn't someone's reality, and something flips out of the bed and you're like, now you can't hide, like you've seen it. So it's weird that Spirit is using the metaphor of the sheets. I hope that that's not someone's actual reality. But what I'm trying to say is, like, something that you are harmlessly doing is shaking something out so that you can see the harm that has been done or that has been laying in a place that should have been a sanctuary. And this is going to just come with time. This is not something that you need to go out and look for. If anything, the message here is to focus on looking at the higher self and checking in with yourself and asking yourself what you need. I want to remind you that Saturn is currently retrograde at the time of me filming this. Neptune is currently retrograde. Pluto is currently retrograde. And these planets right here are really questioning what we, like, our illusion, our perspective. And sometimes illusion means that we just are on cloud 9. And that's a beautiful place to be. And you can stay there because it's wonderful, but oftentimes it's not conducive to you to be able to build upon that, because Earth has to still kind of come into play, and you have this vision, you have this dream, you have these wonderful feelings, but now we got to do something with it. We want to make it last, right? So Neptune retrograde is kind of questioning our reality and makes us kind of face some things that we may be unwilling to see, or we didn't have the lens, the clarity of mind to even think about looking at things other than what they actually are. Remember, we have the 7 of Pentacles telling us to take a step back and look. And then we have the 2 of Wands, which says we have the opportunity to look, but you know, we may not be able to see, like we're not seeing, but 7 of Pentacles will make it so that you see. And Magician card is not stupid. The Magician card is one of the most intelligent tarot cards in all of the tarot, and doesn't miss a beat, doesn't miss a detail. You will hear and you will know without a doubt. So with the 7 of Swords here and the Wheel of Fortune card, something is going to reveal itself to you. It's going to make itself known to you. And for some of you guys, it could be a secret that was kept from you. For others of you guys, it's an aspect of yourself, especially with the Wheel of Fortune card. This is the universe's grace over your life saying, like, we really want you to see this about yourself. We want to see this. We want you to see this about your perspective and what you've been forcing and how you've been working, how you've been moving, how you've been showing up, not to punish you, but to teach you that, number one, where is the origin of this? Where is the root of this? Where did this come from? And number 2, now that you're seeing this, what can we do differently so that we can change you? So that we can change the situation, right? For some of you guys, you're really starting to see, again, 6 of Wands with this Freedom card here, into the Temperance card here, and the Ace of Wands card here. Oh my gosh, and the Fool card here. You're starting to understand, especially with the Fool card showing up, that you're really not trapped. With the Fool card, there's this unshouldering of the burden, right? I take this off. I'm disrobing myself up of this situation. I don't need to do this. I am a good person. I have made excuses. I have tried for to make this happen, or I've done all that I can for as long as I can, and I don't expect myself to continue in the same way because I'm a human being and I'm allowed to grow. I'm allowed to change my mind. I'm allowed to go in a different direction. I'm allowed to have my priorities shift. So some of you guys are really free to choose. And that's what's really coming through here is like, you're not trapped in any situation right now. You're actually being open right now to create. You're open to re-spark your fire. You're open now to relearn something or to learn something new for the first time, to explore. And to support that even further, this is where the wealth is coming from. 10 of Pentacles, which big time talks about longevity, long-lasting, generational blessing, right? So instead of you being strapped to the same repeating friendships, same repeating connections and partnerships, same lack mentality, same lack of abundance, same, kind of like I don't want to say slave mentality because that's not the right word that I want to use here on the internet, but this mindset that you have no choice but to labor and not get anything in return. For what? You're being free of that. Like, it goes so deep. It literally goes so deep. 10 of Pentacles is that root of where it came from. Parts of ourselves and parts of the journey that we're proud of, parts of the journey and ourselves that we are not aware of, but still influence us to this day. This is where you're realizing, holy shit, I've been moving this way, never asking for anything other because this is the way that it's always been, and never even having the perspective to think and to do differently. I have a story about this from like years ago that I've shared so many different times, but for the sake, all right, I'll share it with you guys. I'll share it. One time, a long time ago, one of my longtime exes, right? He had a sister who would order a vanilla ice cream cake. No, it wasn't vanilla. It was just an ice cream cake. And it was like a birthday cake. And he was like, she orders this every month or every two. It was often enough. And he was like, yo, she's really living her best life. And I was sitting there listening to the story and I'm like, wow, I never ever stopped to think that I could get a birthday cake. It's so simple. But I never stopped to think when I go to the grocery store, I love ice cream cake. I never stopped to think that I could get a birthday cake whenever I wanted. The only time when a birthday cake was bought was when it was someone's birthday and I'm either getting it for myself to celebrate my birthday or someone else's. And I'm like, if that's how I perceive cake, imagine all of the different things in our lives that we say no to, that we don't allow ourselves, or that we say yes to. Because of pattern, it's in our brain, it's repetitive, and we just never stop to reflect on ourselves and say, no one's scanning my ID when I go to the register and check out and say, is this your birthday? Who are you buying this cake for? I could choose to buy cake if I wanted to. Nothing is holding me back. Nothing is stopping me. So I say that as the most simple metaphor, but I wonder with this 10 of Pentacles and with this unburdening, this unshouldering of this way that we do things. Now, granted, if you study tarot, superficial level, 10 of Pentacles represents the abundance, the material wealth, but go deeper than that. Pentacles I don't want to go too deep in it because for that reason, go to Secret Circle Tarot School and there's whole videos about that. It's a learn at your own pace. A school for tarot, esoteric symbolism, knowledge, and eventually one day, probably when I'm done my maternity leave, I'll begin working on astrology courses. But this is talking about the root of how deep something goes to the point where it is so embedded in us, in our minds, in our ritual, in our routine, in our history. We never question where it is that it came from. I actually just finished a book 3 days ago. I just finished a book on my family's from Jamaica. Part of my family's from Jamaica. And there was a lot of history and lineage that as I was reading it, there was so much, it was so interesting how close it was similar to my life and my family's story. And then I actually passed the book on to my mom, and I passed the book on to my aunt because I was telling them about it. But there's like these things that we do, these rituals, things that we do, or choices that we make in our lives that we are not aware of them. And the book kind of highlighted it. So, from specifically Jamaican culture. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's really what it is I'm seeing here for sure. The other thing too with Ten of Pentacles is when you're able to start to see something, especially with the Fool card here, which is open-minded and open energy, and again had took off all of the burdens. You went from the Ten of Wands to the Fool card here. The Ten of Wands carries the weight. The Fool card has let all of that shit go and ventures off. This is when you start to realize, I am my own person. I am my own person. I am the one who gets to empower myself. I am the one who gets to speak life over myself. I am the one who gets to choose. I am the one who gets to ask myself or challenge myself to see the pattern, to see what I've been doing and how I've been maneuvering, and change if I want to stay in that space. Do I want to stay in this space, or do I want to explore and do something different here? Even if it freaks me out, because the Fool card is facing a new chapter, facing a new journey, but to their core may get anxious and may get concerned about what's to come. And that makes a lot of sense. So let me go ahead and shuffle for you guys. I was kind of moving this around earlier. The Wild Offering Oracle. And we'll see what this major themes that need to come through that is important for you to hear right now. Not just at the full moon in Capricorn, but at this moment, this time in your life that is around the Capricorn full moon. Now, I would normally, for those of you guys that love my astrology readings and predictions, I don't want to promise a Capricorn full moon video. I have a bug bite on my ankle if you see me kind of crouched down a little bit, but I would normally do the full breakdown of the Capricorn full moon. I don't necessarily want to promise that because, as you guys know, I'm getting closer to my maternity leave, just kind of finishing up some last minute orders and readings within, not last minute, but the final amount of orders and readings that were already reserved from the last shop update. It is taking me time and pacing myself for that time off. So I don't want to promise that there's going to be a whole reading on the details, the specific details astrologically, and then not deliver. However, if I have extra energy, then I come on and share that with you guys. Okay. So just for those of you guys that love the astrology, I'm with you 100%. If you were in my personal circle, you would hear me talking about it all the time. That's one of the reasons why I started the YouTube channel to begin with, because my friends and my family are they love it. Don't get me wrong, but I needed that extra outlet. Okay. So the three main cards that are coming through, holy shit. Pardon my French. Sorry guys. That's just crazy. You're not even going to believe this. Okay. I'm going to give you the first two. Excuse me, empowerment and striving. Does that not almost completely summarize what it is that, like, this entire time? Which is crazy because it took me 40 something minutes to say the message, and hopefully it hit home, only for it to be summarized in these two cards. Isn't that wild? Okay, empowerment. That is the name of the game, empowerment. This card says, this is what Spirit wants you to focus on. And we do have another card here. We do. Okay. When you ask the divine to take over, you get pulled into your own authentic power. It is a force of inner love that wants your wholeness and magnificence. Oh, unfold my true and radiant self, dear Lord. The next card, striving, which sounds good. For some of you guys are like, oh yeah, that's the card for me. I'm all about the striving life. It's actually a problem because you're constantly needing to stretch and reach for things when there comes a time and a place where you have to ask yourself, why am I reaching so hard? And am I hurting myself in this long, extensive stretch? And do I trust that the universe is going to provide, which is going to lead us to the next card. But anyway, striving. Eventually, the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arise. Thank you, Divine, for letting me move with the flow. Is someone eating a peach right now? Because I got a strong whiff of a peach. It is peach season. I had a bite of a peach like 2 weeks ago, and that's about it. So I'm wondering if someone is eating a peach. Okay. Or the symbolism of the peach. Okay. Impatience is the final card, which is very telling. My life is unfolding in divine timing. All delays are beneficial. I'm always at the right place at the right time. I really, really love that. So those are the 3 main themes that Spirit is wanting you to focus on. I'm going to shuffle from this deck. If you are someone who loves these readings, I have BehatiLove notes. And it's a small group of exclusive readings for that core group. And they are way more frequent than here on the YouTube channel, and I never post those readings on YouTube. So if you ever need additional support and encouragement, you will find that within BehatiLove notes, and I'll also leave a coupon code down below so that you can get some money off for that. It's pretty much a subscription service that's pretty affordable, and everybody loves it because not only does it give you insight into your day-to-day, things that is that you need to hear, because it's with you in mind. You also get like journal prompts. I've started hearing a lot time and time again, people saying like, I've been using this to kind of like journal and reflect and work on my shadow and kind of unhinge myself from things that were holding me back. So, okay, that will be linked down below. That will be linked down below. Okay, the next card we have here is Pig Spirit. Use your mind wisely. Now, this has a lot to do for me as I'm looking at this, examining your perspective and what we focus on. Some of us think that we are focused on something because we think it's the right thing to do, but I just really get this strong sense that allow Spirit, invite Spirit in, invite your higher self in to kind of reshift your focus. Some of you guys might be locked and loaded and staring into one direction. Your eyes are stressed out, and it's time for you to kind of relax. It's time to relax the strain and the pressure that you're putting on your eyesight to see. And it could be a physical insight, like an actual eyesight. It could be a spiritual third eye eyesight. Or it could be your focus, where your energy is directed towards. It could be a person, a relationship, an addiction, something that you're strapped onto. And I just feel like this is where Spirit is asking you to kind of relax it, ease off, take a break, and allow us to shift your focus so that you can see what we want you to see. Ooh, I haven't seen this card in a minute. You have the Lion Spirit. Be generous of spirit. Yep, be generous. So this has a lot to do with your ability to give to others. Some of you guys might have a lot to give to people, but because of situations that you've been in and feeling used and abused and taken advantage of and tired, you're closing yourself off. And that's where Spirit is saying, see, this is what we didn't want. That is a no-no. We don't want you to be drained. We want you to feel replenished and in places where you're being equally poured into, so you don't feel like you're giving your all and you're not getting anything in return. Okay. Also, that has, oh my God, I love this. I love this card so much. It's one of my animal totems. That's why. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Cow Spirit. The miracles are endless. And shout out to Instagram for somehow randomly picking up on the fact that my algorithm needed to see the cow. It went from like dogs and ducks and cats to like the last 2 days, it's been like nonstop cow. Oh, and birds, like lovebirds. Now there's a lot of cows that have been showing up on my timeline, and that's my spirit animal. So I've been loving the appearance. But yes, the miracles are endless. And the final one, this actually showed up for BehatiLove notes. So that for those of you guys that are subscribed for BehatiLove notes, this is a hi to you and a reminder of the reading that we did where this came up. We have the Peacock Spirit. Let it shine. Let it shine. And a lot of you guys, this has to do with your heart. It has a lot to do with self-worth, Oshun energy, connecting with what you give back, the value that you hold, how beautiful your energy is, and also increasing your vibration, like raising your vibration so that you can experience newness in your life. And I also think with the lion spirit here and the cow spirit here. Not to say that these, well, pig and cow are kind of sacrificial oftentimes, but there is a strength here that it is, and I'm sensing when we are moving within our purpose. Even with the peacock, it's like you know yourself. There's this undeniable, I know myself, and I don't need to compromise that for anything or anyone. So I hope that this message was exactly what it should have been, which is the word that is ruling the message right now, empowering for you. I hope that it really inspired you to see things, especially from your perspective, to pivot, to see things in the way that the divine, their higher self, would want you to see things right now, to not be depleted, and to also be open to pivot and change, like to pivot in the way that you're being asked to right now. It does feel really positive and constructive. For those of you guys that are working on breaking generational curses, pace yourself. It doesn't all need to be done in one night or 1 year or even one lifetime. Any progress that you're making towards a healthier, more positive, more grounded perspective in you, for yourself, and for those who have come and for those who are to come, it makes a difference. And you will have many lifetimes, I'm sure, where you can do the work. Try not to burden yourself. You know, that, remember, shouldering that. Try not to carry all of that and constantly labor within that. Take breaks, ease up, relax, and know that you have the power to choose to do differently. And a big part of healing too is play and enjoying this life, really enjoying this life, and having more balance, which we have the Temperance card here. I didn't even share that with you guys, but the Temperance card is here, and it's about making things, not making things work, but flowing with things as they find themselves working out for your highest and greatest good. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Make sure that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. Do give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.